Hey, greetings. We are looking at Matthew chapter 12. It's the reference where Jesus talks about the unclean spirit who comes out of a person. It travels through the dry country looking for rest and will not find it, does not find it. And then it will eventually return to the home. That home is clean, empty, swept, and put in order. And then in verse 45, and this is what I want to focus on today, it says, then it goes and it will take 7 other spirits worse than itself. And it will leave the home way worse than when it left the first time. I want to take a moment and just talk about this word take. There's a couple other references in Matthew with the word take, and I think there is a glaring contrast that we need to see and we need to apply into our hearts and our heads and our homes. And so bear with me. In Matthew 2:21, there is the first reference in Matthew of this word take, and it's Joseph taking his wife and his child, I believe, to Egypt, fleeing from their home and going to find some semblance of peace and safety beyond it. So Joseph takes Mary and Jesus to safety, in essence. That's the first reference. I think it's worth mentioning because God is in the business of using you to take people into safety, security, and hope. But let's not stop there. In verse 4, or chapter 4, verse 5, the devil took Jesus, okay, to 2 different places. Listen to this. He took him to a very high place, which was standing on the temple. And he said, hey, by the way, jump, the angels will catch you. And in essence, Jesus is just saying, hey, guess what? Hey, make a spectacle of yourself in front of God's people so that your name might be known and they might worship you. That was the second temptation. The second is the devil takes Jesus to a high mountain and he says, if you worship me, you can have the kingdom, you can have my kingdom, the kingdom of this world. Very, very unique moment in time. But that's the second place that the Satan, the devil, the enemy, took Jesus to tempt him, took him to a high place. Now listen here in chapter 17, verse 1. Jesus takes, okay? The devil took, okay, Jesus to the temple and then to this high mountain. And then Jesus in chapter 17 takes Peter, James, and John up to a high mountain. How cool is this? Isn't it so awesome to see these interconnections of some of these words and these messages that the Lord wants to bring to our life, to apply to our current circumstances. Jesus took Peter, James, and John to a high mountain. What happens on that high mountain? Jesus transfigures around them. There is this significant moment where Jesus is on the mountain. He's not serving the enemy. He's not submitting to what the devil has for him, but he's submitting to what the Father has for him, and he transfigures. Okay, the best way to understand that is, man, he transforms in front of his disciples. I mean, I can imagine there's some radiance, there's some glory, there's this amazing wonder that's happening around him, and his disciples see Jesus for who he truly is. And his disciples overreact and they're like, okay, God, okay, Jesus, I see who you are. Let's make a temple here. Let's worship you here. And Jesus was like, hold on. This is not the end all. I'm not looking to create a temple. I'm not creating to make a place or a top of a mountain to be a holy place. But what I'm wanting you to do is go into the world and tell people who I am. That I am not to be worshiped in a temple. I am to be praised through your life. I mean, how cool is that? And then at the end of Matthew 18:16, There's a few different little stories there, but what I find very significant is it talks about confronting individuals, and if you confront an individual, you should confront them with two or more people. And there's that very significant scripture that many of us quote that said, if two or more are gathered in my name, I shall be with them. Here's the deal. May the Lord take you on a journey. But my prayer today is not only is the Lord taking you on a journey, that you're taking other people with you.